Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and tonight we're starting a brand new series, baby, the off-season for Australian Survivor. I've done some little bits here and there with Useless and with Michelle, but we're here to give you the official season rankings of Australian Survivor, starting right here, number 11, Blood vs. Water, which is universally ranked as the worst season of all time. And just before I get into the nitty-gritty on how everything works, let's start off with a beautiful woman right on below. Michelle, more like Winchell. She's like amazing in every way possible. Everyone, please welcome the amazing Michelle. How are you?
Hello. That was a bit of a plus. Jeez, I'm not good at everything. Not at everything.
Well,
no.
I mean, it has been a small while since we podcasted together, right? Like the Amazing Race finale was like how
Amazing
long ago?
Race. I'm not used to not having the baby here.
True.
What is it?
The
Dolly and the moose.
Dolly.
Because I had 12 mooses or something, in a row.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I had the real spicy, like, I don't even know what was in it. It was like chili. It was like chicken, some veggies.
Yeah, you were drinking a bit of milk there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had two liters bottles of milk. It's been a while, and I'm so excited that we're back. And talking about STDs, that's probably one of the happiest STDs in my life. He came on the channel, said he wasn't a podcast and that podcasting's for losers, but just like a really good STD, he keeps on coming back. And ladies and gents, please welcome the amazing Useless Australian Survivor Facts.
How you going? Just letting you know, Mucky, they're actually called STIs now. So they're infections, not diseases. You got to get rid of that stigma. Just like podcasts, I've got rid of that stigma of podcasts are evil and we should all just like memes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like at this point, like we might also make you an official co-host or just like a regular. You're like that friend. What was that friend's character like Gunther or something? Who's like in every single episode. Yeah.
I still like the special guest star. I feel like you get more money on the guest star rather than reoccurring. Reoccurring roles don't bring in the money. No.
Yeah, that is true because we get paid shit tons here at Mucky Hope Productions, So
don't tell the tax man.
Yeah, don't tell the tax man. And as always, we're going, Mr. Gabe here in the chat. How is season 1 not last? Well, I'll get into that in just a hot second. And Useless always coming in with a random fact. Well, let me quickly break down how we have done this. So I've gotten together with obviously Michelle, Useless Australian Survivor Facts, Eden and his brother on Survivor Debrief, Alex and Caleb on Speaking Llama, Survivor Twists, Will, Sophie, and Kirsty from Make It to Merge, and Cam and Sam from Cuppa Immunities. And I've asked them to send me through their season rankings. Now, everyone sent me a list from number 1 being the best and number 11 being the absolute worst, the shittiest of seasons of all time. And what I've done is I've collected the data and I've handed off to V because V hasn't seen every season. She doesn't know how I guess we feel about each and every one of them. So she's not super biased with any season. And she's come up with an average on roughly where everything had placed. However, I can say with full confidence that everyone had Blood versus Water on the bottom except for Useless, who had it in his top 4.
Oh, you guys have very poor taste. Oh.
Yeah, and so
you need a better Useless ranking system.
Yeah, and when it came to averaging the seasons, I was trying to have a go at it myself because I'm pretty shit with maths. I didn't pass statistics or anything, but the only ones I got right was the ones at the very bottom because literally everyone except for one person had the same season at the bottom, and so. Yeah, Useless. Like, I'm going to give the floor to you. Everyone thinks it's shit. You think it's great. Tell us why. Why is Blood vs. Water so good?
I can't speak. No, I've really understood that it was an unlike season when every time I do a ranking list and Blood vs. Water is in my top 5, everyone's like, that was the worst season. But I don't understand why. We had Sandra. We had Geordie, I thought Mark was an excellent winner. I thought Chrissy was one of the greatest characters, even though she didn't get any votes at the end. Josh Milgate's probably the most underrated person. Obviously, he was voted out before the final three, but probably the most underrated person who didn't win the game. There's just so many good characters. I mean, Sam stealing Jesse's idol is like peak Survivor, and I
Yeah,
know there was a lot of
that's good.
backlash. I know there was a lot of backlash, and I think that's how any season of any reality TV show is how the cast is viewed by the viewers. So I really like this cast, which I guess a lot of people didn't, and that's why I have it as a top tier season. And obviously, I'm the only one that thinks that.
Yeah, well, Michelle, I know that a common complaint about the season was that the winner was so obvious and that they really hammered Geordie as much as they could with, like, you know, the Joker and Mark's like the Dark Knight and stuff. And especially while rewatching some stuff, like especially the Purgatory episodes, it's such a long stretch of episodes, you know.
Are we going to go through an order here of the season, or are we just going to randomly talk about anything at any time?
I mean, we can do either or, but just with the Purgatory thing, I just wanted to bring up. So you had obviously the Jesse blindside, which I do agree with you, Useless, is like a phenomenal blindside. Such a great moment. I think it's crap that everyone hated Samantha for it when David pretty much did the same thing to Phoebe and he got like so much love and praise for it. But we'll go into that a bit later. But you had the final 10 where Shay gets voted out and it's into Purgatory. The final 9 where Geordie gets voted out, then KJ straight after. Then another episode where Michelle gets voted out. And then they all come back in, which then KJ gets an advantage. And at least it's somewhat of an interesting vote where they do manage to get out Jordan. But then the next vote is where you really get like the big flip, the big moment that this whole twist was supposed to, I guess, help out with Samantha finally getting blindsided. And that's what, like Shay, Geordie, KJ, Michelle, Jordan. So there's like 6 hours, because normally every episode's just over an hour, 6 hours of kind of the same thing, like over and over and over again. So I definitely do like just having those long stretches, like for me personally, was like such a drag. How about you, Michelle? What did you sort of think?
Well,
like about the season as well?
3/4 of the way through the season. I'm not sure. So
no, just saying the floor's yours.
Now then.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's talk about Purgatory. Yeah.
Rubbish, because Edge of Extinction, anything like that, one person comes back in, not 3 of the 4, making it seem like, well, why did we watch all these last few episodes? Because they're gone and then they're all coming back. And poor Michelle, like, what the hell? 3 of the 4 come back in and then she's left there. That was ridiculous. I hated it. So unfair for Michelle. Just put 1 in, maybe 2, but not 3 out of the 4. That was really pathetic. And the amount of hate Sam got for doing, stealing that idol was insane. The fan group was really hard to control at the time. Sam had to leave the group. She was getting hate mail. She was getting so much hate that it was actually out of line, and it was a bit scary. And I didn't like that. And that was one part of the season that really, it was amazing what she did. But the casual fans and the fans that are really for, above board gameplay didn't like it. And it just didn't go down well.
Yeah.
And I'm actually on the like, I guess maybe I take away my experience from what others view or whatever, because I thought the Sam Blindside was up there with what Sari did with Eric. It's literally the same thing. You play on that, trust that you believe. And if the people, I don't want to interact with people that are going to send death threats, and I would just block them. I've done it on my page. Anytime you go outside of the game, for these sorts of things. So I guess that didn't actually have an effect on the season to me in a negative way, because I just thought it was such a good play. The whole Purgatory thing is, I count that as that's Australian Survivor. I think they saw what happened last season with Baden and Haley, where Baden basically gets screwed going up against Haley, he's never going to beat, in a 1v1 duel, and then Haley's back in the game straight away. Whereas if there's 2 or 3, 4 contestants, you get a bit of a chance at least. And then I get where the fatigue comes from. And even in the pre-merge, when there was a lot of, someone gets voted out, but it's a fire making challenge, and they had to deal with that because of the Alex quit and all these sorts of things. But again, the blood versus water dynamic itself makes the season completely unique. And you didn't get a pagonging. You don't get these yellow versus blue kind of things that you get in every season, and that's why I like a blood versus water season. And it's funny because in the American version, blood versus water, the original one, was one of my favorite seasons, but when they redid it, it was actually one of my least favorite seasons because of the cast was so poor. Like, it was terrible. So the theme itself can't carry a season, but I thought in Australian Survivor, the Outback, the theme, everything, it just makes it a more outstanding season compared to other seasons. Especially, I feel like the last 3 seasons have been very same, which is fine when you watch them individually, but when you watch them back to back to back, I just don't rate them as high as what obviously everyone else has.
Yeah, and just a comment here from Gabe as well. It's not the worst for me because we do have our first Australian Survivor female villain in edit with Samantha, and Purgatory Week, you can skip all those episodes, is true. Yeah, I do think that I do agree with you, Useless, where like when it comes to like twists in Australian Survivor, Purgatory is just one of those twists. And something that is good is that, unlike the American version, is that if a twist does really shit, they do not bring it back. Such as the urns, the process to get to Redemption Rock with the 3 immunities of fire making and stuff, and with Purgatory as well. They've like never done it again. But I do think that with like the fire making, like Alex quitting as well, I feel like there's a lot of episodes where like even Sophie getting voted out as well to just jump around a wee bit. Like, it's just so it's clear as day that Sophie's getting voted out. There's no chance for her whatsoever. And I will give them credit. They do try really hard, but I feel like there's a lot of like portions throughout the season where it just drags a bit, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and like I understand that from like if you weren't an Australian Survivor fan, but I don't think there's been one single season of Australian Survivor apart from Australia versus the World, which had no pre-merge. Is the first 4 weeks or 12 episodes, it's it's bulky, and then you get your second, it's kind of like 2 seasons in one. And maybe I'm just starting to think of it from another person's point of view, is you had the bulky stuff and then you have a whole nother bit of bulk before the really good stuff. But again, I think, as I said, like some of my favorites were Josh, Chrissy. I actually really liked Mark as a winner, and even though it does seem obvious and he does go on to win unanimously, I still think he's a great winner. Like, it's not his fault that he's playing up against new players, and like his wife at the time was on the jury. That's not his fault. Like, that is the season, that is the theme. And I think people have probably just remembered the worst parts, and I guess that's one of those things. If the worst parts are more memorable than the good parts, you're going to have that sour taste in your mouth with the season.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of good things that I loved. Right at the beginning, Chrissy running for the idol at Tribal Council with 2 others, and she gets it. I thought that was a lot of fun. I love that sort of thing, and that was something different. I wish they'd do something like that again.
I agree. Like more idols at tribal councils, I reckon. Like we saw with All Stars, like how great that was. We obviously saw, even though it didn't pan out to be as dramatic as we kind of hoped it would be, but Parvati's idol at the podium, like Police's idol at the podium. We've also have Adam trying to rip apart the podium in front of Jeff, and all the other winners at war. Like, more advantages at tribal, I reckon. Yeah.
And the whole idea of the super idol that David got and Khan, and they had to put it together to make it a super idol. I love that idea because the players have to try and stay in for the idol to mean anything, and it makes them work a lot harder. But I mean, that's always fun, and then people don't understand where it's come from all of a sudden. I like that idea too.
Yeah. What's that you were going to say before, Useless?
I was just going to say, I think it was like, and again, this is what sometimes it's like the super fan gets annoyed when someone like Chrissy doesn't know what tribal council is. She's like, oh, the idol's at tribunal. What is that?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even know. She's like, is that the camp? Like, and she just loves Jonathan, and she's just not there for a good time, but like she's learning as she's playing, and I felt really bad that she didn't get any votes at the end, and I've already kind of discussed this on my page that maybe that we need a jury change, because I don't think the way Australian Survivor works, the jury just has either people in the jury have too much influence on other jury members rather than the actual final speeches, because it just seems like the jury itself picks a winner and then they all vote because they don't want to be wrong, rather than everyone have their own individual say. And that's why we're not getting the 5-4 votes, or we're getting all these unanimous or the 7-1 votes, which you know, it makes the season kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah. Just a couple of comments I do want to bring up because they aren't making me giggle quite a bit. First of all, here from Brendan. Welcome to Live, Brendan. Wasn't Oprah on the season? She was, apparently, according to Chrissy. And Blood vs. Water is kind of like Mucky Hope Productions of seasons. I like it, but not many people seem to be big fans. And of course, here from V, love you, V. I'm a huge fan of Mucky Hope Productions, but Mucky Hope needs more Probst. Well, you can check out my video on why I think Jeff Probst needs to be fired, needs to be sacked. I made a part 2, a way longer one as well, a whole hour. The first one was like 10 minutes.
Oh, now God, I've done like an hour?
An hour, yeah. To be fair, I did it like live, so I was going off comments as well, but that's just getting me more fired up, you know? So, yeah, make sure you check out that video. I go over all the whole Jeremy Collins stuff as well, and some of the previous Jeff Probst stuff that's happened in the past as well. But Michelle, let's quickly talk about the cast, specifically the returning players. Mark and Sam, I thought was genius. You've got like this couple, they formed in season 2, coming back and stuff. Even though it was kind of like, as players individually, I don't know why they're coming back, but their story as a couple, I thought that was a great idea.
Very good idea. Very good.
Yeah.
I mean, who I like better was the whole Sandra thing. Sandra coming back onto Australian Survivor. I was like, yes, I just want to see her play in, with an Australian cast and see how she goes. She didn't do too badly. Yeah. I thought she'd be out early, but she did well.
Well, can I say a quick hot take? I think this season was Sandra's the best game that she's played.
She had a big target on her back.
I actually fully agree with Mucky with the whole Sandra take. I actually was one of those people where, even though Sandra was a 2-time winner, I was like, she's still not a top 10 player, because, and it's hard to show a game like Sandra's on TV. And it was actually that the Island of Isles or whatever. It was a terrible season, but it actually shows you that, social gameplay, you don't see it on TV, but it actually helps you get far in the game. And obviously, Tommy wins that season. He didn't even need to go to the island to learn these skills because he already had them as a teacher. But it just goes to show you that big flashy moves, all that sort of stuff, is not a great game if you don't have the social game to recover. And I think we saw with Blood versus Water, with Nina, she obviously played a really good game before her injury. Again, I think that's another thing that maybe people don't like, but that's out of Survivor's control. Obviously, even Alex, he was injured and that's why he quit. So it's like you've got basically 2 medivacs in a season. Then you've got, that's what probably caused this purgatory. And they can just go, oh, I don't like the season because of this. It's not like production means for these things to happen. So yeah, so the whole Nina situation, like Nina votes out her own mum. I know that's a huge thing in American Survivor when
Mm.
Sierra voted out her mum.
Mm.
Obviously, it was a bit different because everyone was going for Sandra. But yeah, and again, that's another great moment. Obviously, one of the anticlimactic returning players was Andy and his sister, and they both go early when people probably could have wanted Benji and Annalise because their brother and sister, they played on different seasons, so they would have been like a lock if they could get them on the season. I'm guessing Benji's demands were too much. And yeah, so I think production did the best with what they could have done. And even I've heard Sean Hampson and Megan Gale were asked to come on, but Megan Gale was unable to do it away from her kids. So it's not like production didn't try to make this the best season possible.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think bringing Sandra in with her daughter was phenomenal, right? Like, I think having more American players, especially, like, come on the show, like, with their loved ones, I think you got to, you know, if Rob wants to come on with one of his daughters, make a Blood vs. Water too. You get what I mean?
Well, even that
And
happened in American Blood versus Water. Tyson would not have played again if his girlfriend didn't want to play. He was just having a joke out there, and then his girlfriend gets voted out early. He switches on. He plays his best game. He becomes a winner. He comes back for winners at war. So these types of seasons, Blood versus Water, you're gonna get your iconic players that. And I've brought this up on Oz vs World. The only reason you get the best cast possible is it's 16 days. It's a
yeah,
short,
Mm.
jam-packed season. You're not gonna get those players without it. So I would sacrifice days for great players in that situation. I would sacrifice half a cast. And I mean, I don't think half the cast was poor, but I would sacrifice half a cast if you could get the other half being absolute superstars. So
yeah,
I think Blood versus Water itself is always going to have its tricky little uh, moments. We saw, I think it was like Alex and Jay. That was like a late change because Alex's sister is like a famous. She was like a bachelorette or something, and she pulled out last minute. So you get things like that. So it's like people go, oh, who was Jay? Who was Alex? Who were these people? And it's like, well, they're kind of your fill-ins. They're kind of your what did they call it on Survivor when alternative or some? And sometimes they
yeah,
work out, and
my
sometimes they don't.
alternates, yeah,
Yeah, the
Alternates. Yeah.
alternates. Yeah. So Davey from David versus Goliath is like the perfect example. They didn't want to put him on because his name's David, and they don't want a person called David on David versus Goliath. But
yeah,
he's on the show because he's an alternate, and then he's one of the best players on that season. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But overall, I thought this was a good cast.
yeah. And just something here from Gabe as well. Blood vs. Water casts are tricky, hard to find two great players and characters in a pair. Usually one of them is a dud because Croc was an applicant for Survivor and Chrissy was just a +1. But look at how that turned out. I barely even remembered Croc. You get what I mean? All I remember is that actually another pro for Blood vs. Water was how good some of the episodes actually were. Like the Croc blindside and having like Chrissy like go against what Croc wants to do and take out Jesse, but then he gets like taken out anyways. Obviously the Jesse blindside we've talked about. Like I think that I mean it's just Australian Survivor in general where it's like when it's good, it's really bloody good. But obviously when it's like pretty bad, it's really bad because it's just so long, you know?
Yeah, it goes for a while. And I actually think that as well, there was more emotion in this game, and as I said, I think the emotion actually came off negatively, as Michelle was saying from her page, where people had to leave the group, and because of that's how much. But the emotions are so much higher when your loved ones voted out in the game, or like I thought Geordie like kind of coming after Mark is that's kind of I think a lot of people are in that situation where Mark and Sam were the big bad guys, and because Mark goes on to win, it's not satisfying because most movies the bad guy loses and the good guy wins. Whereas in this situation, but for me, I must have been going for the bad guys because I like Sam and Mark. I like their gameplay. I like everything Mark did. Mark did everything correctly. He isolated himself from Sam. He could have chosen to go on the same tribe as Sam. Isolated himself from her. When they had idols, they made sure whoever had immunity held the idol. So if one of them got blindsided, they still had two idols. So they did all the classic things. If you got to play Survivor a second time, they took advantage of everything. They were kind of the one player, two players in one. And I think a lot of people thought it was unfair, but nothing was stopping anyone else doing the exact same thing. But again, like KJ has to vote out her sister, and Nina has to vote out her mum. You know, Croc gets blindsided, so Chrissy comes straight after Ben because she's not like thinking straight. She's not thinking, oh, actually, it was Jesse that orchestrated that. I should go after Jesse and Geordie. She's just got the rage that Ben was the one that was in the alliance, and it has to be Ben. So, and yeah, it's just things like that where the things that I liked happened. It seemed like people didn't like those things that happened, and but I think that's what makes any reality TV series great is no one's one opinion is correct, and there's no one correct winner, and there's no one correct way of a game being played out.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Useless a question quickly. Jay voting out, being voted out without a confessional. Is he the only one ever? Has everyone else has had like
he wasn't
one
even
or
the first
two?
one. So Sam Shoulders back in Champions vs Contenders 2 was the first ever contestant to be voted out without a confessional, and that was completely out of the blue because she actually competed on the Amazing Race before she was on Survivor, and I think her and her friend finished second. So I assume she has a big personality, and she she gives off like she's like the kind of the queen bee kind of thing, and it just didn't work out in Champions vs Contenders. They must have had other storylines to deal with all David and Luke being so popular.
I thought it was Michelle, but I wasn't sure because I mean, she's not quiet in real life. Like, it's really bizarre that she didn't get anything, and then Jay didn't get anything. I mean, the fans hate that when they don't get even one confessional, and that was a downfall for me.
That is, and I'm not sure if it's like it's very similar in movies nowadays, and I've kind of sorry, I've kind of gotten away from these movies where they make the movie to shock the audience rather than just making a good movie and then the audience is surprised. So I think when Jay gets blindsided, obviously Amy's has an idol and they're splitting the votes. So when Amy plays the idol, we know that Jay's going. But for some reason they're still making it, like it can't be Jay. We haven't even met Jay yet. So maybe Sandra's going or something like that. But it's like they want to, and that was similar with the Sam vote. So obviously, Daisy and Baden and John must flip to Luke and
David.
Luke and David side to get rid of a contender. And you don't know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Sarah? Is it going to be? And then it's Sam, and you're like, who? So yes, it does happen from time to time in Australian Survivor. I'm not even going to start listing the amount of people that have been voted out without a confession in that episode because Gerald didn't even get a confessional in all of the post-merge in Brains vs. Brawn, and he was. It's not like he wasn't a player in that season, and like we even had him getting chopped out of challenges. That was the first time I noticed that the reward challenges were getting chopped because I do statistics, and Gerald's got photos of him competing in it, and people will go, "Oh, Gerald's not doing anything. He's not even doing the challenges." It's like, well, they've chopped it out. And I really don't like that. I understand you can chop and change conversations and whatever but changing full challenges is just a no for me. I feel like there's so many ways you can speed up challenges without cropping out a whole portion of it.
Yeah, and that is a real downside to Australian Survivor. Like, while I sing Australian Survivor's praises like so much here on this channel, I will admit, like, the editing of contestants, like, while it's a plus that you get your 10 to 12 main characters on the season, such as with this season, you've got Geordie, you've got Samantha, you've got Chrissy, you've got Mark, Khan as well. I mean, that's only 5 people I can. Nina, she was a main character as well. 6
I
people
actually
who really
like Juicy Dave was one of my favorites.
Juicy Dave's great. I love Juicy
He did get
Dave.
a bit purpled after his idol play, but Juicy
Yeah.
Dave, he's a again, and I think this is the thing. All of my favorites, I don't think anyone likes. Like Josh Millgate.
Yeah.
Josh Millgate's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Juicy Dave.
it's something with Josh Millgate. He would have been one of the greatest non-winning players ever, but he just didn't get a edit. So no one really rates him, right? And I think that is the downside for Australian Survivor. Like right now, I'm currently watching Squid Game The Challenge. Are you guys watching?
Not
Squid Game,
yet.
The
I'm
Challenge?
waiting for Celebrities Traders to finish.
Okay, fair enough. But basically, so Eustace, have you seen Squid Game The Challenge, the reality TV version of Squid Game?
I have not seen it, but I do see that season 2 First Boot Joan is on the new season. So
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. So basically it has a similar issue, right? Where it's like you've got an hour of TV, but you've got 456 people. How are you going to show everyone, right? And so many people just get eliminated and they don't even have a second of screen time. The one moment of fame is when the black ink pops up like, oh, I'm eliminated, And that would suck. You get what I mean? Like you go all this way. Obviously, there's so much you got to do before you actually like get into, the manor, the island, the wherever the bloody hell Squid Game is, and then if you just get nothing, you get what I mean? And it would really suck. But for Survivor, it's not as hectic as Squid Game. It's 24 people. Season 1, even season 2 had very like even edits. I felt like throughout, and they've kind of just dropped it for the main character stuff, which is good because like. The Croc blindside was great. The Jesse blindside, you feel each stab going through Jesse's back as the votes get rid of, just a betrayal of Samantha. Samantha getting blindsided. Phenomenal, right? But you miss out on so much more, I feel like, just by building everyone up.
And I think this is like a marketing ploy with the whole like 6 people on the title card, or we've seen when it was Heroes versus Villains, it's George and Haley, who's gonna come out on top? Like, it's just a little bit frustrating that we have gotten to these rivalries. And again, everyone loves Titans versus Rebels, and it is one of my least liked seasons because it's Ferris versus Kirby, but Ferris and Kirby are working together the whole season, apart from one vote. So it's like basically saying we're idiots and just,
Yeah.
Low-key dying over here, but
I can hear that.
Oh, sorry.
All good, way.
I'm just getting very emotional about everyone
about us thinking it's last. I wanted to say, Useless, you say you like a lot of the people that people hate or don't like. But I'm the same with Amazing Race. I tend to like all the races that everyone else hates because I like the way they play and the way they race. So it's not unusual. I'm just the same on another show.
And I like, and that like that's the beauty of things. Like I think Australian Survivor has to try and get a more even edit so everyone has different favorites, because it basically is telling you who to be your favorite, who not to like, who not to even care about, sort of thing. Where, and like this happens in video games as well. It's like because of power levels, you've got to pick the same 6 monsters or whatever. Everyone has to use those because they're the ones you have to use to win. And it's the same thing with Survivor at the moment. If you're not going for George, like I really liked Matt Sharp. I didn't even like, he's not on there, and he had a sound strategy. It just, if it was a final 2, he goes to the end with Jerry and he wins, but it's a final 3 and he's completely under the bus. So it's just things like that. And I understand where people have kind of come from, but I still can't believe it.
You like the season.
Yeah, but in saying that, I myself rate Champions vs Contenders 1 as my least favorite, but I always say least favorite and not worst because I actually like every single Australian Survivor season that Channel 10 has done. So I always say least favorite, not my worst season. It's like ranking the Harry Potters. It's like I still really like it, but one of them's got to be last. But Champions vs Contenders 1 for me is because poor gameplay is rewarded in that season, which is a little bit like against my kind of statistical mind.
Yeah. Well, just a couple of comments I do just want to quickly read out. So we've got one here from Gabe. That's just the way Australian Survivor has my English has just disappeared. That's the way Australian Survivor has decided to tell the story. Use now its main character, side characters, and absolute nobodies. It's quite funny. Geordie's brought back as a villain. He's actually the underdog this season against the villains Mark and Sam. But to be perfectly honest, like I know that Simon was actually like originally supposed to be a hero, then he got dropped in the last minute. He was brought back as a villain. I just think they just needed anyone with muscle to be on that tribe, so they're literally willing to throw anyone into the villain because they really had nobody. I'm watching the season again now, up to the episode where Nina hurts her knee. I don't mind it, but definitely tricky with the family dynamic. Juicy Dave was a character similar to Chrissy, just more quiet. His daughter Brianna, the typical super fan that played too fast, so he stays and becomes a funny character, bumbling his way through the game hilariously. Well, I mean, Michelle, that third episode is probably my favorite episode of the season. Where Juicy Dave has the idol, and he just throws Samantha under the bus at Tribal for like no real reason. Just she's a social butterfly. She's making alliances, and just slowly just turns everyone against him. Like it's great.
I know, and I was thinking, David, you're digging a grave here. What if everyone likes Sam? What are you doing? That was really weird. To me, it felt really weird, like he was just trying to make himself known, I suppose, which he did. Yeah. Big Red made a comment about Khan, which, no, the one further up.
There we go.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Khan a lot longer. I think he was a good player. He was a character.
Yeah.
He definitely played the game with his idol, where he was playing Russian roulette every single tribal of not playing it, and that is the classic case where an idol actually hurts your game more than it helps it. And yes, I definitely think he should have got rid of that idol as soon as it became public knowledge, and he just wanted to keep hold of it. Well, one tribal too long. I think he would have got through the game quite well without the idol, because it was the final 6 were all original Water Tribe players. And I think that's another thing that people don't think of. Like, I never thought of it as a begonging, but Juicy Dave was the last player from the Blood Tribe, which is so funny because obviously he was the social outcast early on. He has to play an idol to keep himself in. At the time, he actually set a record for eliminating the most votes on himself, on oneself. So, I mean, he was setting records without even knowing it, or if that was his plan, was to, get them. And actually, talking about Josh Millgate, I know I brought him up earlier, this is how you know sometimes they might have missed a trick, because he had so many funny voting confessionals that surely his other confessionals would have had some great stuff in, and he was the main he was basically the head honcho that Mark was using him as a shield. So if Mark's using him as a shield, like how big of a player was he? But he just said some really funny things in his confessionals. I remember he said when he voted out Amy, he said, get some cooking lessons from your brother because you've overcooked it. And then
that was my favorite part of confessional.
With Mel, he's like, oh, Mel, didn't know you were fiery. Like, if you brought out your claws earlier, we would have kept you in the alliance. Because he just thought she was a passive player. So sometimes you think, oh, what does the editor have to use? And then other times you go, well, I actually think there's something there. So maybe there are things that I look between, and it is because I do watch it, I go back, I do make edits, and I'm sure you're the same, Mucky. Um,
Yeah, I watched your
you
even before we
you would
started talking, I watched your voting confessionals things that you had
yeah.
made and stuff, and I was like, this is bloody gold. Yeah.
But you would pick up on stuff that maybe the casual fan or the one-time viewer wouldn't see because, oh, you're making dinner and you miss a thing, but it doesn't really affect the game. But it's like those little things. Like my biggest one that I've ever made is the Sue's big move, where no one knows what Sue's big move is, but I know what Sue's big move is because I've watched it 100 times.
Yeah.
So it's just like things like that, and maybe people will watch Mucky Hope Productions and go, "I'm gonna give Blood versus Water another chance."
Well, hopefully, sometimes it's not about the end result, it's about the journey along the way. And I hope everyone rewatches Blood vs. Water and realizes maybe it's not so shit,
Well, maybe I may need to make an edit of Blood versus Water without Purgatory, without the
Yeah.
Medivacs, without all that, and I make it like a tight little,
Yeah.
maybe an 8-episode season, and see how well it goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we have gone over some positives. I do just want to touch on the negatives. And the first one will be Andy. Now, nothing against Andy personally, but
I
Michelle,
love
I feel like
Andy.
I love Andy too, but I feel like it was such a wasted opportunity
Yeah.
to bring Andy for this season when the next season is heroes versus villains, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, such a fun villain, right? And I mean, I do think he misplayed his hand. Like ironically, another funny moment to say he's the one telling everyone how to build the shelters. Like, mate, like you've got an SAS soldier right bloody there, and you're trying to be like, nah, I know how to make a shelter, like not him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I did think that was really funny, but yeah, I love Andy, and it just sucks to see that he came back and both him and his sister, which I felt really bad for his sister because she just got the reputation of, she's related to Andy. So therefore, she's going to play exactly like Andy, and that's why she received votes on the split vote anyways. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was just such a random waste to bring Andy here in the spot.
I actually disagree. And I wish they brought him back for the next season because he said that he was going to win, then he was going to come back for All Stars, and then he was going to come back for the All Winner season. Obviously, he didn't win. He wasn't invited back for All Stars, and then obviously because he wasn't a winner, he wasn't on the All Winners season that was obviously in America. So I thought it was really funny that he came back and then he got booted out straight away. But yes, I understand what you mean with if they knew they were going to do heroes versus villains, they definitely would have saved him. And he probably is one of those men on the villain tribes where even though he's not muscular, he's got that. He was really good at throwing things, and Australian Survivor loves a challenge where you throw things. So he really could have helped them in the challenge sense there. But yes, I actually think Andy being on the season was a little bit of a positive, even though he went straight away.
Yeah. And
well, he
I guess
did a lot of practice in his backyard. He did a lot of practices of different challenges, so he was ready to throw anything.
Yeah. And like I do find it pretty funny that like one of the first lies that people call him out for is for like, oh, are you gonna lie that you're like what? Like the visor for golf player and stuff like that? He's like, oh no, not this time. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe if it wasn't Blood vs. Water and you're like so worried about like other couples and stuff like that, very similar with Khan that Gabe brings up here. We'll say he was a great player and character, last so long, even with all the buff guys want him out pre-merge. I think without maybe the Blood vs. Water dynamic, would Andy potentially have made it like slightly further, similar to how like what is in Heroes vs. Villains, they sort of let the returning players like go a lot further because of like the experience and stuff on the show. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't. He went in really hard. Khan, I think would be really good on another season. But Andy went in too hard at the beginning. He killed himself.
I
was like, stop talking. Stop. Especially the bit where he was in the water. He was in the water somewhere. He just kept talking, and I thought, oh God, you're going to make yourself get voted out.
I think that's the same thing. I think in heroes versus villains, I definitely think there must have been a pre-game alliance of returning players protecting each other. And even though there was 13 newbies versus 11 returnees, and then obviously Jackie's medevaced straight away, George isn't at the first vote, I still think there was like an underlying alliance. And I feel like Andy's, I again, like I know of people in the community, but I don't know if Andy is good friends with a bunch of them, but I would assume Andy would be one of those people that makes pre-game alliances. So I think him being on a tribe where the other returning player is someone like Mark, who's, you know, kind of those big macho, the complete opposite of Andy, was always going to be a bit of a disaster for him. And maybe if he's on the other tribe with Sandra, he actually does better. Maybe,
yeah. I guess it's kind of like that. Very similar with Henry, right? It's like if he's on the yellow tribe instead of the green one for All Stars, does he get given as much shit for trying to play super hard straight away, or was it just because of that tribe he's specifically in? Is that why he really cops it, you know, really early on? But like another negative, you know, we've already kind of like talked about it, but like the editing of the season, like Mel was literally voted out to do the fire making against, you know, Mr. Ben, and she won it and, you know, sent him home. She gets constantly targeted tribal after tribal. And even at one point, I remember where like they're talking about Mel and how they need to get rid of her, and it cuts to her. She looks at the camera, and then it just completely goes away to just someone else. She received her first confessional on the merged episode, talking about
Mel
her and her twin
Michelle
sister.
Mel and Michelle got like 5 between them the whole season. And what's frustrating is that Mel is a super fan, and she would have a lot to say. And the whole thing with Mel getting voted out before Michelle, Michelle, you know, found that absolutely hilarious in real life, because she's not the super fan. Mel brought her along, and then she ends up lasting longer than Mel. And even now, this is something that she brings up with her sister. Well, I lasted longer than you when you were the fan. And I'm assuming that would have come out in confessionals, but they didn't play any of that fun stuff.
Yeah,
I think the editors, I think the editors again have not trusted the audience to know which twin was which. And they actually, it is quite funny because I know, and back to a Harry Potter reference, is they actually did switch clothes with each other. So, because I've actually, when I was doing the you know, profiles, I've used the same person, but they're wearing the other one's shirt. And they messaged me and said, that was me after my sister was voted out. And then so she gave me her clothes. So you've used my photo twice. And I was like, well, I can't believe you've done this. So maybe they were the classic. Because I was saying, like, they could tribe swap, like, at a challenge and no one would know. And they're those mirror twins. So, like, one's, like, tooth is on this side and the other one's got a tooth on the other side. So they're not actually, like, identical. But yes, from a memes, and I had the joke that they could only get 23 people and they were just using the same person for 2 things. So I think they sometimes they insult us by saying we're not smart enough to know which twin is which, but unfortunately I did not know which twin was which. So maybe they were right on that.
Yeah. And a comment here from Alan. Welcome to the live, Alan. Hopefully your trip to Finland was bloody amazing. Hey guys, worst part of the season was post-merge was just male brigade, made for such boring TV. I mean, I think it's just, as I kind of mentioned at the start of the live, where it's like you had the 6 episodes, which was kind of like the exact same story over and over and over again for the 6. I think once Samantha gets taken out, then it's like, also not Samantha, once Jordan gets taken out with that like advantage, the whole game like kind of changes up from there, right? And becomes more of an interesting season. But speaking of Jordan getting taken out, what the hell was that advantage that KJ got? You know, like never am I going to say
great advantage. That was
well,
the T advantage was awesome.
It's look, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I do believe in Sasquatches. That you know, you've got 3 people on the bottom, right? You've had this majority of 6 people in control since the start of the merge. You know, taking out one after the other. And then KJ gets an advantage. Wow, there are 3 people on the bottom. And what's the safety without power for 3 people? You get what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I definitely feel like it was a little bit of a tip of we've got to try to get something happening, right? Which, you know, it definitely did. You know, I feel like they used that advantage the best way they could have by getting Juicy Dave to actually flip to their side and taking out Jordan, but I don't know. I felt like that one was too much on the nose.
Again, this is another thing where I think I've like not misinterpreted how the season went, but I think the comment is basically saying they didn't like it because an alliance worked. So they didn't like people for playing Survivor, which that's where I find crazy. And I can understand it does make for some boring TV when an alliance gets a hold of itself and it doesn't flip on itself after 2 episodes. But that's Survivor. Like, that is the game. And I know, and it wasn't a classic begonging. It wasn't like it was people from one tribe that were put together on day one so they feel entitled that they have to work together. It was this alliance had come together, they were strong together, and yes, I felt like it was like the bottom people were people's favorite. So, you know, the whole like, oh, you can't, can't get out the bottom people, and maybe that's why they even do the purgatory thing. That's why they do the T twist where 3 people get saved, and actually KJ actually uses it pretty good because she sends home a person that already had immunity. So it's like it's even a stronger advantage the way she used it. And then obviously Jordan goes, and then that creates enough kind of tension to get rid of someone else, and then it's like that spiral effect. But yeah, it seems like people didn't like the game of Survivor because people were playing Survivor. That's just what I'm getting from that comment.
Yeah. It's so true, but that's in any reality show. People don't like, the race. If they start actually winning every round, they think, well, this isn't right. And I'm like, well, they're just good at it. They're supposed to do that. And with Survivor, if you've got a great alliance, go along with it. Why do you have to flip on each other? You don't have to, but people don't understand.
Yeah. People want to see big moves for the sake of big moves.
Yeah, but they're not playing it. They're not there. They don't understand that big moves get you voted out a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's like the Russell Hance, the George kind of thing where whoever's loudest is the most correct, which is we've obviously known. And it's like the customer's always right, and if you actually work in retail, the customer is never right. And that's just what I'm getting from this fan vote, by the way.
Yeah. One of my I work in retail, right? And one of my favorite things customers say to me is that, it says on your website you have it. The website says what the company sells, not what the specific stores have in stock. It's like, no, but I see it right here. Look, I understand it. We just don't have it. Gosh, sorry. It's a whole thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to do stock control, and it would say stuff was in stock, and then I'll look up what happened, and it'll be someone received in 10 over the PO. And I was like, so we never had these 10 dresses that we have online. Someone's made an error, a human error, but we're selling dresses that never existed. They're still in China.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, it's the same in my job too. I'm a teacher. The parents come in, say my child's really bright. They can do this, 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 and this. We do the assessments on them. They can't do anything because obviously they're assisted at home. And then we show them that they can't do it. Look, this is what they can really do without you. And they go, oh, okay. Right.
Michelle, what year do you teach? Or like
kindergarten, the youngest ones, yeah.
So a little too young to do their own Survivor. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I can't get them playing Survivor. No.
I mean, surely you could get them doing the Amazing Race though.
Well, in the play, it's funny. There was something in the playground today, and my co-worker was balancing on this thing, and she's watched The Amazing Race once because I made her, right? And she's balancing on this thing, and she's like, "We could make this a challenge. What else could we have for a challenge in here?" Oh, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I've
converted
ruined
them.
her brain. She's thinking about challenges now in the playground."
Yeah, just a couple final comments I read up before we do our final thoughts. But very felt like production tried to make merge interesting. I don't blame the Muscle Bros banding together. Sandra even warned them the weak will outnumber them. It's like one world goes alliance, you can't blame them. And you build in lines with the people who you feel comfortable with. Those dudes just got along and it worked. I mean, yeah, I do agree with you, Useless, where the seasons that a lot of people tend to hate the most are the ones where like the best games are played. So like Rob, Redemption Island, All Stars once again with Rob and Amber, like Kim Spradlin and One World. I even said, actually, not to spoil my why Jeff Probst needs to be sacked part 2, but a lot of things that people say they love about the new era, when season 45 came along and they had the intros like, oh my gosh, the intro is back, Survivor is great. And then they had a tribe swap season 45. Oh my gosh, swaps are back. Like even we have a friend in our group that tagged, like Brendan and I to be like, hey, just to let you guys know, like a tribe swap happened this season. It's starting to look really good. And so it's like, okay, so what's a season that has a tribe swap, an auction, because everyone loves the auction, and an intro. Survivor One World. Why isn't that like the best season of all time? It's got the 3 things that fans love so much. But yeah, if you want to see the full context, you can watch that whole hour-long video. It's pretty great. I enjoyed every second of it. And Tom McPherson, giggity. Actually, Michelle, Tom, he does like these amazing race kind of things in Brisbane. Like, I don't really pay attention to know exactly what he does, but Tom, you should reach out to
why don't I know about
Michelle.
This?
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Like I don't think it's the Amazing Race, but it's something.
No, it's not the Amazing Race, but he does them in
the OK race.
It's the OK race, yeah. And I love One World. Any season with a female winner is top tier to me. Oh gosh, don't start this again. And I'm the host.
I need a link. I need a link, and I need it now. Can you send it to me, please?
Well, hurry up, Tom. You've got the biggest Amazing Race fan right here, Tom. Hurry up with the link.
Are you kidding me?
Also,
I don't know
see above everything.
Oh, I'm out. The below average race, I'll apply.
Yeah,
but
but Michelle, obviously Useless has been very high on Blood versus Water. I've been, kind of mixed. Talking about the goods, the bads. Like, how's the season now fit with you after talking about it, rehashing some moments?
Look, I'd have to rehash all 11 before I could make another decision if I'm going to change what I did. I actually can't remember what I sent you. I need to get it and look at it, what it's like with the average, and see how similar I am, because I'm not sure. But it was hard. It was really hard to rank. There was quite a few. I was like, I don't know where to put this, because sometimes the cast's really good, but the gameplay's bad, or the gameplay's great, but then the cast aren't engaging. Like it's how it affects you personally, and everyone's very different,
Yeah. Well, Useless. I mean, something that, while I don't think Blood vs. Water would change on where I personally put it in my rankings, like, I definitely do think, hearing a lot of your points and talking about it, it definitely has made me realize that there's a lot more good moments than, I guess, poor moments in it. I mean, something we haven't even really talked about, but Nina. We get the birth of Nina Twine. She was rejected on David vs. Goliath. We get her here on Australian Survivor. And, what could have been Nina on Blood vs. Water, right? Like, you says, if Nina makes merge, is she a winner candidate?
I think it sounds really bad, but I think it was good that she injured herself then. She kind of goes out on top. She gets to come back. I feel like her heroes versus villains game was more of a bucket list game than actually playing to win. Like she wanted to find an idol, she wanted to win immunity, but those things didn't really help her game. So maybe she just is a one-time player if she doesn't get injured in Blood versus Water. Can she win it? I don't know. It was just too many. There was too long to go. As I said, like if there was the macho men, if she's not a part of that alliance, does she go? Does she have to go to the purgatory? All that sort of stuff. Does she get back? Does she work with Geordie? Does she work with KJ? All that sort of stuff. So there's too many variables. I think for her personally, it actually worked out better. Obviously, she went back to the US. She won a show called The Anonymous, which I've never seen, but it gives her those opportunities. And yeah, I'm myself similar to Michelle. Like I'm actually gonna rewatch them all because I kind of just rank them how I feel at the time, and then I kind of place them in between. Like, oh, this season was better than this season, but worse than this season, so it goes in here, kind of thing. Whereas I'm going to go rewatch and do, rank the cast out of 10, the gameplay out of 10, the actual entertainment. I think that's another thing that people undervalue is how much did you actually enjoy the season? Like sometimes it's not, oh, the players were good or the hour. Like, am I on my phone or am I watching the TV? So I'll put all that into consideration. It will take me a while to get through 11 seasons of Australian Survivor, but yeah. Can't wait to release my own top 11 list.
Yeah, well, I will admit, like, for redoing the series, I did really want to rewatch all 11 seasons, but I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And I think we can all agree with this.
TikTok where you can do, like, triple speed.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been the best season ever if Juicy Dave won. You know, I agree. It would have been the greatest season of all time. But that does bring us to the end of our podcast. Michelle, I've already sent you the rankings there, the final rankings. I won't ask you this question, but Useless, I want you to take a guess. What is the next season that we're going to be talking about? Hello?
We froze.
Useless? Is
he
frozen?
Oh, there he is.
I thought you were talking about Michelle. This is on time.
No, I meant you. Sorry, I meant you. Sorry, I said Michelle already knows, but I wanted to ask you what you think the next season we're going to be talking about is going to be.
Well, I'd say it'd have to be Champions vs Contenders 1, because I can't imagine anyone really thinking that's a top tier season. But by the look at Michelle, it's probably the best season. So, It can't be 2016. 2016 was a great season. Oh, no.
Well,
oh, my God.
Well,
is it just going to be a verse of what I've put? Oh, my God. All stars, maybe then.
Yeah. Well, let me just announce that it's Champions vs Contenders. The very first one, Champions vs Contenders, Season 3 of Australian Survivor will be the next season we're going to be talking about, coming out next week. And, make sure you subscribe for some cheeky naughty times. There is something I do want to read out to you both, actually. So this is my cheeky naughty times of this segment. So as you both know, I love chocolate milk, right? Hang on, Michelle's what? Boo these rankings? What do you mean boo these rankings? These are from the most greatest, content creators and podcasters on the planet, Gabe. It's yeah, but anyways, cheeky naughty times, right? So as you both know, I adore chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk so much, but also I love Shin Baddie, right? And my coworker asked me the other day, if I had to pick, which one would I pick? And I was like, I really don't know, right? I honestly, I do not know. And so we decided to ask ChatGPT on which one I should pick. So I laid it all out. I talked about my history with chocolate milk, starting from when I was a kid, to my history with Shin Baddie, watching her on Ahsoka Season 1, all the way through to actually getting to... all the way through getting to meet her. And so I have this poem I want to read out because it gave me a full-on thing, and then asked if I wanted a love letter to it. And I was like, of course, yes. So here is the poem.
Oh, jeez.
Dear Shinbadi and my beloved Puhoi Valley. That's the brand of chocolate milk I love. They say a man's heart can only truly belong to one love. But what am I to do when one makes my soul ignite and the other makes my taste buds sing? Puhoi Valley, you've been with me since the days when life felt too sharp. When the world weighed heavy, you were my quiet companion. A 750-litre bottle of peace. You've never judged me for drinking 2 a day. You only ask that I twist your cap and let your sweetness wash the chaos away. But then she appeared, Shinbadi, radiant as the light over Coruscant, eyes that could calm a stormtrooper mid-blaster fight. As Shinbadi, you told me that even darkness can crave meaning. As yourself, you remind me that humans are galaxies, complex, beautiful, and infinitely worth exploring. So here I stand, caught between chocolate and starlight. Between comfort that never fails me and a dream that makes me feel alive. Puhoi Valley, I'll never forget you. My loyal sip in hard times. Shinbadi, I'll never stop admiring you. The pulse that quickens my heart. Maybe the secret is balance. A bottle in one hand, hope in the other. A toast to the sweetness of milk and the wild, untamed flavor of love. Forever yours, a humble chalky milk romantic. AI made this poem.
I was about to say, I've never been against AI.
Sorry.
But I think I am now.
I don't understand.
And also, because we are in the naughty times, can I just say, it's like, well, if you had a sip of chalky milk and you had a sip of this Shinbadi, which one would you go back for seconds?
Well, I mean, I haven't really had a sip of Shinbadi, if we've been perfectly honest, you know? Like, she's only just, like, touched my arm, gave me a hug, told me she loved me, and that's really it, you know? And it's moments I'll carry with me for all eternity. Whereas chalky milk, I've always gone back for more, you know?
That might be your answer then.
Yeah. How about you, Michelle? Anything cheeky or naughty you've been up to? Anything you would like to cheekily plug?
No. I've just been invited to a very big event in 3 weeks' time, and I'm a little bit excited. So maybe when we're closer, it's on a podcasting night.
Oh no!
How
can you do this to me, Michelle?
Oh my God, which one is it? I think
know.
it's. Oh geez.
You can't reveal the name of it.
Which number is it?
You can't reveal the season.
No.
Oh gosh.
It's number 8.
Right,
I want to be there for that.
No. Yeah, but we'll have to reschedule for number 8
live
then.
stream
But,
it.
yeah. But how about you, Useless? Anything special you'd like to plug or promote or anything?
Yes, I was just on the Amazing Race. I was on the American leg and unfortunately booted, and I'm back here in Australia. Unfortunately, we weren't racing any other contestants. It was just me and my best friend taking on the world. I was driving in America, so I was driving on the left side of the road, which is the right side of the road. Wait, I was on the right side of the road, which is the
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going with the traffic, so did not crash. Unfortunately, I was in Las Vegas, did not get married, so another failure. Apparently, you have to talk to women to get married, which is very unfortunate. I needed a ChatGTP Poem Society to help me out with that one. But no, it was very fun. But the naughty times were very, very. What's the opposite of naughty? They were nice times. They were nice times. Let's just say I'm still on Santa's list. The nice list.
I mean, that's pretty naughty of you to still be on the nice list. How can you say you truly lived if you're, on the nice list?
Went to Sin City and actually I did get a tattoo, so sorry, Mom.
Okay, now that is a sin. Yeah. So we just have sirens galore going out. Right as we're talking about naughty times, literally two sirens I've got off across the road.
I was in New Zealand for a hot 3 hours and unfortunately was unable to see Mucky due to I was not able to leave the international terminal. So unfortunately Mucky wasn't willing to break custom rules and jump over
I wasn't, no. Well, I was going to give you that chalky milk espresso. What it was it that you said had like 900 grams of like espresso, which was searched up would have actually killed you if you had that amount.
It wasn't 900, but it would be equivalent of 900 mils of Red Bull. That's how much caffeine was in it.
That's right. Yeah.
I did get my numbers mixed up there. So it does happen. It does happen to the best of us. We get our numbers mixed up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things not getting mixed up, literally tomorrow or later today, it's actually 12 a.m. for me right now. It's already Friday, but V, Drew, and Jake will be back to talk about American Survivor season 49. So, does anyone really care about season 49? We're all just here waiting for season 50, right? So make sure you tune in for that. They're doing such a great, phenomenal job. I've been loving the lives between the three of them. They're absolutely great. And then this weekend, Kahuna and The Vault from $1 Million Island, Australia, and myself will be here to talk about Squid Games, the challenge season 2 as well. So keep an eye out for that. And I was meant to upload it last week, but Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I'm still working on it. It's one of those projects that at first you think it's going to be right and easy, but once you start doing it, you just realize just how hard and just how long like the work takes and stuff. This is why I'm not a professional editor. All right. I've had to like change editing softwares like twice in order to try and make this as easy and as good as it can be. But I promise you that we will be uploading all that stuff for the Pooniverse if you're interested. I doubt anyone's actually really that interested, but it's great movies, great times with Kahuna and Nathan. So stay tuned for all of that. That's all the amazing stuff coming out on Mucky Hope Productions. Follow Useless at Uselessaustraliansurvivorfacts on TikTok and Instagram. And if you haven't already, join Michelle's page. She does a bloody phenomenal job, running the Traders, The Amazing Race, Survivor. Any other pages you run?
Hunted,
we'll just do those.
UK Hunted has just finished last week. We podcasted about UK Hunted as well. So yeah,
I'm just thinking we should make a Michelle Games, and it's like a mixture of The Amazing Race, Survivor, Hunted, all these shows, Traders, into one game called the Michelle Games.
It'd be great.
And you should just cast all your favorite podcasters to be the contestants.
There's enough of you, honestly. Yeah. I could furnish a whole game with just podcasts.
Well, hang on. You're saying you've
shortlisted it.
Well, Michelle, I'm just heard to say that you've got a lot of like favorites. Clearly, Useless and I should be like the favorites. What do you mean? Who are all these other favorites you got?
It feels like when the girl that likes your story is already married. That's what I'm getting right
now. I mean, hey, it's just like that pickup line. You look like a girl who could have 2 husbands.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
it's never worked.
The podcasters are all male except for 2 that I know. Oh, and Verity 3. Otherwise, it's all male.
Oh, and Leonie, LJ.
Oh, Leonie, yes, she's new to the game, though, isn't she?
She is pretty new, but hey, she'll be like
to season 1 of Michelle Games, maybe season 2.
But she could be like the Christy or the Juicy Dave,
we couldn't invite Annabelle because she'd win. Like Annabelle couldn't come.
What's this? Annabelle from the Traders?
Yeah, she's a podcaster too.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't sure which Annabelle, if you're talking about that Annabelle or some other Annabelle, I had no idea who who it would have been. But yeah, anyways, make sure you subscribe, like, comment down below what you thought of this season as well, and stay tuned for next week when Michelle and I will be back to talk about Champions vs. Contenders 1. Ka kite anō, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.